It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Before we took that break, we did tell you that our conversation on this side of the table today will focus on the role of state governors in food sufficiency. Now, it is known world over that food sufficiency and security is the role and responsibility of government at all levels, especially the state and local government. And if you all remember, during the January 1st speech of Mr. President, he actually called on the governors and he told them that the power lied in their hands and they must do all they can to ensure that food sustainability and security is improved upon. And today on the program, we'll be taking a look at some of the things the governors can consolidate on individually as states and collectively perhaps at the level of the Nigerian Governors Forum to ensure that there is food sustainability and food security in Nigeria. Joining the conversation this morning is a consultant, agricultural consultant to Ogun State Governor and also the MD Bama Farms, Wale Oyekoya. Thank you for being here on the program this morning.
And thanks for having me. Good morning.
Right, let's quickly go to Mr. President's January 1st speech where he thanks the governors for their collaboration, but specifically he did say that it was their role to ensure that there is food security in Nigeria. If you were to, take a look at that phrase, it might look small, but it was also very big, a charge to the governors, because we've always called on the federal government. Yes, there is hunger in the land, there is this, there is that, but even Mr. President is acknowledging the fact that we need to start holding our governors more responsible. What's your take on that?
Well, good morning once again. I will say kudos to Mr. President for listening, especially to the voice of the people and to the media. I remember the last time we were sitting there towards the end of the year where we keep on saying that we should stop blaming the federal government, that the blame should go to the table of the states, and especially the local government. So Mr. President has spoken the mind of many Nigerians, especially the farmers. And it's now left to the governors to really take advantage of the provisions of the constitutions of 1978 Act that gave the power to all the state governors to do and undo with the lands in their state. And with the arable lands we have all over the state, because there's no state in Nigeria that doesn't have a comparative advantage of one product or the other, not to talk of the mineral resources. If you look at the land, especially in the north, I will take Nigeria as an example, that have almost about 76,000 kilometers. That is like half of Netherlands. And if you look at the GDP of Netherlands is almost double of the whole of Nigeria. So what are they doing right that we are doing wrong is nothing but agro-processing, agro-exports. So now that the Mr. President already told all the governors to go to their state and do the needful, it's now left to the governors to call the citizens, because all the governors doesn't have much to do. All what they can do is to provide the enabling environments that providing the lands, maybe security, because security is the key. If you look at what is happening in most of the states, a lot of people are running away from the farm when there's no security. And that is one of the basic things that the government is owing its citizens: food, security, and shelters. So with those three encompass, I believe we are good to go.
Okay, it is one thing for Mr. President to talk. Looking at the body language of this governor so far, would you see anything intentional as to their policy on how to ensure that they revamp the agricultural sector, excuse me, in such a way that there will be food sufficiency? In some states of the country, I know that Niger State is doing quite a lot, and Lagos State is not doing badly as well. But by and large, generally all the governors now, from their body language, do you think they attach any seriousness to the statement of Mr. President?
Yes, I believe they are doing so underneath. But what really matters is the interest. If you don't show any interest in something, there's no way it's going to materialize. So what I've just encouraged or advised most of the governors is to have interest in agriculture. Because if you don't have any interest, the citizens will not have any interest. If you don't budget appropriate money to the sector, the citizen will have nothing to do, because look at the inputs. I keep on talking about the input, because without the seed, There's something the farmers can do. There's something the citizens can do. Seed is not something you can just buy from the market. Or if not, you are going to buy adulterated one. So I keep on saying that every state you have research and development to develop on the seed that can go in their land. If you look around now, most of the inputs we have, especially in terms of the seed from the tomatoes, pepper, they are being imported, which is not supposed to be. When the IITA are doing their best, but it's not enough when you have one research institute in the whole of the country of over 200 million. A lot needs to be done. So with the interest that I keep on talking about from the state governors, I will take an example from the governors in the Southwest. I think they are forming synergy for all of them to come together between the Ogun, Lagos State, Ondo, Oyo, and Osun State, which I believe is under the power line that they are doing. And especially even the youth have a lot to do with this, because I remember in Ogun State, a lot of youth were employed to be extension workers. What happened? 70% of them, they jackpass. Now the state governor have to come back again. This is what I keep on saying, that the state governors have a little to do, but the interests have to be in both the citizens and the government.
Okay. So if the interest, of course, has to be, the citizens, because, of course, it is the farmers that would drive this initiative, and also probably the private sector. And then when you talk about the interest of the government, what kind of attraction can the state government give to farming to boost, yes, you talked about security and issues around insecurity, but what else can the governors, as forms of incentives that can actually, attracts or the interest of farmers, because there are a lot of people that want to go into farming, but different things have destabilized their interest in farming. So what are some of those incentives that these governors can think of to again woo these farmers?
Yes, you have spoken well. As I'm sitting there, I wear two caps, as a farmer and as a government official.
Right.
But the most important thing is the enabling environment.
Okay.
Which the government are trying to do. As I said, they are trying to throw out so many programs, but are the citizens embracing it?
If you can give examples.
Example is like giving out the lands. Okay. Like in Ogun State and Lagos State, they are still giving lands to the farmers.
When you say give lands, is it for free or
it's not for free?
Stipends?
Okay. It's a stipends.
Okay.
Especially nothing is free. Free time is not free nowadays. So if they give free land to people, they will not even value it.
Right.
So if it is stipends or arrangement on how they're going to be paying the money, maybe through the produce.
Okay.
Because there's something they call warehouse commodities. You can harvest and sell, then you'll be able to pay back to the government, and then use the money to go back. So apart from the lands, funding is key.
Right.
Because most people, they don't have the money. If you ask average farmers now, the main issue they have now is funding, because the funding is not coming there. Another thing is what I said about the seed.
Right.
I'm of the opinion that everybody should go back to the farming. Because I keep on saying it, that we should go back to the drawing board. When we were growing up, agriculture is the main topic in the secondary school, not to talk of the university. That one is no more there. Most of the lands have been converted to residentials or to buildings. So I believe the government is going to be part of the interest that they will have, that they should have meetings with all the principals of all the secondary schools and the universities, all the tertiary institutions.
Okay.
These people, this youth, you have to catch them young. Right. So by the time they graduated from the primary school to the university, by the time they finish university, they'll be able to take agriculture as a business, not as a hobby. There's a little the government can do when it's rolling out all this palliative, all these incentives, all this money, but the interest is there because, as I said, as I'm wearing two caps, I know where the shoe pinches with
as
the farmers. As a farmer. Because there are so many issues coming on board. You're talking about the climate change that is all over the world, and not only in Nigeria. So what do we do to really tackle this issue of climate change? Then Nigeria, our system is just nothing but rain-fed. We should be able to make use of the irrigation during the dry season. If you look at during the dry season, that's when most of these perishable items are very expensive.
Yes.
Because we don't have rain.
But the irrigation system itself is also very expensive.
It's very expensive, but that's why the government need to come up with
policy?
Not even a policy to be able to help the farmers.
Okay.
Maybe like, what did they give to this?
Grants?
Yeah, grants. Palliatives. You know, that, because the profit margin in agriculture, let me tell you the fact, is very low. So it's about quantity, just like oil and gas. The more oil you're able to dig, that you're able to bring out, the more profit you make. The same thing with agriculture. We should not be thinking that, because when you come to food, feeding people, there should be some kind of palliatives and all kind of incentives to the farmer to encourage them, like soft loan. And I'm still looking for a state governor that's going to give a single digits of like 2 to 2.5 to 3% to farmers. You see how people will go back to farming. Because when you go to the commercial bank, they give you 26, 28, or 30%. They are not on drugs. They are not doing drugs.
How will they recoup that?
How are they going to recoup? How are they going to pay back? Now they say they default. How are they not going to default? When the climate change is fighting them, the security is fighting them, the government policy is fighting them, the taxation is fighting them. So they need to really come to a round table and say, how can we get farmers? Because everybody is involved. Everybody is getting angry day by day because the food is not there. And they say a hungry man is an angry man.
Okay. All right. Aside from the seeds, like you rightly mentioned, that government should provide, what are the other infrastructure that government should put in place? And what do we need to do to make it attractive to our youth? And what will be the role of local government in all of this as well?
The local governments have a lot to do because farming is done local, not in the state. Most of the state governors are in the city. So they have to encourage the local government to be able to do more in their localities by providing modern tools. That's the only thing that I encourage youth. Even of my age, modern tools will be able to help me maybe to be able to clear the land, plant, harvest.
Are you referring to tractors?
Not really tractor. Tractors is in a very big key for the. Yes, all these things can be done by most of these technological or most of these people that, like in the Yabatech or the Firo. They could be able to develop all these things. The government just need to call most of these technological institutions that are listening. We need to create all this environment for the youth and for the farmers so that we don't have to go to the farm through the cutlass and hoe. Gone are the days. And we have to look at our populations of over 200 million. Our population keep on deceiving us because we keep on thinking at the back of our mind that we are still under the 180 million. And we are way more than that. So our government is providing provisions for less than 180 million when we are close to 250 million. Because in another 30 years now, we are going to be the second largest in the whole world. That's a lot, and that is very scary. With the way our government is going now, we have to be able to provide and secure the future for our people.
Let's go back to what you said earlier. I mean, it's appalling that, I mean, in Nigeria, as big as we have only just ITA in Ibadan in terms of research and documentation. So are you also looking at a way where, for example, in the Southwest, where the governors are probably coming together and thinking of ways to partner, and, you know, maybe one state has advantage of rice, another state has advantage of cocoa. Let's see how we can harness our potential and put them all together. Is this also the time for governors to also start thinking of research and documentation, maybe at a regional level? Aside waiting on the federal government or the Federal Minister of Agriculture to come up with such an initiative?
Definitely, and most of the research and development are being done in abroad with private sectors. Why can't the government engage the private sectors and give them tax rebates? That if you can help us to get us a maize that's going to germinate, that's going to give us more yield, or pepper or tomato, these are daily needs that we need. It's not out of place if the government, either the state governors or the federal government, or call the private sectors. We have a whole lot of them. If you go to US, you have all these Ford foundations, all kind of Bill Gates foundations. It's for the private sector because the government will tell you that they don't have money. Okay, engage the private sectors. And at the same time, we keep on saying that the federal government, through the president, has spoken well. But at the same time, there are some lands that the military are still holding on, that they just fence over there. And that's why I said the Mr. President is listening. Because the other time, when he heard that there are some military men that took some land in Lagos State, up to this moment, they just fence it up. And most of the farmers that were there, they are being displaced, which I happen to be a victim
one
also.
of them, true.
Up to this moment, we are not be compensated, we are not be given another land. Now, almost about 30 farmers that were affected along the Ekwe axis. Mr. Governor in Lagos State have done his possible best by trying to engage the chief of army staff.
Okay.
But it's a long way. But what I'm expecting, Mr. Governor, is to call the farmers. This thing is already done. Is the governor?
How do we get out of it?
Get out of this? You are the one that allocated this farmer to this place. We are sorry. The military have to take over. But at least...
Can we give you somewhere else?
Somewhere else and give us compensated, because we are not even allowed to take a single penny from the farm.
From the farm, and you have products.
We have products. All our animals were let loose. Even the state official, they went there, the military will not allow them to enter. So this is where the problem is, that there are some farmers that are being there that are still going through the hardship.
Right.
But still, they are still facing this hardship, and the government need to look into
such cases.
Okay, from your submission so far, can you mention some states where you have seen significant steps towards food sufficiency, probably in the Southwest or generally in Nigeria? And what are those things that you think they should consolidate on to further improve what they have done so far?
Definitely Ogun State is number one, as I said. Yes, because we still had a meeting. They have a consultant there. Not only really a consultant there. Even Lagos State are trying their possible with the little quantity of large space they have. They are very good in value chain. Because you have to give it to them. They still have the largest rice mill in West Africa.
Right.
But they need inputs. Like in Ogun State, we had a meeting yesterday that all the farm settlements need to bring back to board, because most of them have been moribund. And if you can bring all the farm settlements, every state have got farm settlements. And farm settlement is the only way where you can provide the food and the security, transportation, like the infrastructure to the farms. This is where you can do that. By that place, you'll be able to have a concentration of farmers.
Okay. Planting
differently. And at the same time, you bring them for value chain, you produce. From there, you distribute.
Right.
And with the distribution, you need infrastructure. True. You need road, which is what the Ogun State government, through the Dapo Abiodun, which I'm very sure of, that is trying to improve, to make sure that the goods does not get spoiled in the farm, to be bringing to the city. And the same thing in Lagos State also, they are doing it also.
And that will bring us to the issue of storage.
Yes,
because that is
facilities.
also a big issue,
yes.
where some of the farmers at the end of every harvest season, they'll lose a whole lot of
loss.
Yes, a whole lot of products are lost. And so how do we address issues of storage? Because we also know that storage is also very expensive. And so how do we also, is this also something that the states can collaborate on, in siting? I know that Lagos is working on the hub there, but when you look at storage, how important really is this? And if we know that it's very expensive, is this also an area that there can be collaboration?
It's like you were in a meeting yesterday.
I saw through your meeting.
It's like because the storage facility is what we really discussed fully yesterday with the Commissioner of Agriculture in Ogun State and Lagos State. Okay. I think there's going to be a synergy between both of them, that they can produce in Ogun State and come and store in Lagos State, because you like it or not, Lagos State is the commercial hubs in Nigeria. That's why you have the population, that's why you have the market, that's why you have the money.
Right.
So if Ogun State can be producing in Ogun State and bring it to Lagos State, definitely it's going to be robust. Because storage facilities, you like it or most of the 60% of what farmers produce today, we lose it through the post-harvest loss, because the facility is not there. Even if you look at the silo that the federal government have today, how many of them are really working? And are we even really producing enough to store? When we have not even have enough to eat. It's only when you're able to eat and you have extra that you can store for the rainy day. But we don't really have that we have to be importing some of these maize or soya beans or all kind of stuff, or even rice.
Yeah, I understand we import gari now.
Yes. 80% of the food we are still eating today, which I really want the federal government and the state government to look into, has still been imported. And these are the things that can be produced locally.
Is it not a shame that we're importing Gary?
As I said, it's interest. It's interest. I keep on saying it. If I don't have any interest into farming, I will not go into it. You must have a passion for something. And the government need to forget that they are not making money out of this. You cannot make money because you have to feed people.
Okay. All right. Okay, so
beyond interest.
Beyond what the state governments are doing to ensure that we have food sufficiency,
yes,
insecurity is a major challenge.
Yes.
How do we get back the confidence of the people in such a way that farmers will be able to farm without looking back?
Well, I will keep on referring to Ogun State because this just weekend, our governor just commissioned another Amotekun. And you know, with the Amotekun, it's part of the local security. I think almost about 5,000 were paraded.
Yeah, because I saw him in his regale.
Exactly, in the regale. Just to, you know, this Arakuni used to do it in Ondo State.
In Ondo
but
State,
now there is no more. I think the Ogun State governor, Dr. Abiodun, is trying to take over being the commander corps, and at the same time, the whole of the South is now the chairman of all the governors in the Southern Governor Forum. So it's a very good achievement that, and he wants the people that don't terrorize people and don't let the citizens come and be reporting you that you are molesting them. They are there to safeguard properties and life. So with that one, and I believe Lagos State also, they have all their security outfits also that they send to all these local people like Ekpe, Ikorodu, to fish out most of these kidnappers. So definitely the states are really trying. It's only sometimes their best might not be enough, but they have to keep on trying. Our population keep on soaring. That's why I keep on saying that we really need to do more in terms of humanity. Not everything should not be infrastructure. What about humanity? We need to do humanity because a lot of Nigerians are hungry. And there's a poverty in the land.
Ajibola talked about role of the local government earlier. And now that, of course, the local government autonomy has also come to stay, what's the synergy? What should the synergy be between the state and the local government? Because again, we know that most of the lands are situated at the grassroots level. And now that Mr. President has told governors you have work to do, will governors also now tell the local government chairman that, I mean, this is your drive, you have to do this, or how will this really work so that we can also go back to issues around food production at the local level? I know that the last time you were here, you also talked about the need for us all to go back to farming at our backyards and all of that. So how do we, at the grassroots level, ensure that, you know, these things do not end on national television? The message is taken to the nooks and crannies of the communities.
Yes, the local governments are the tools to go by. If you look at how many ministries that most of these states are having, some of them have up to 30 or 40 ministries. Okay. And agriculture is just one of them. And that is why they have the delegations of all these commissioners to do their bid. Now that the local government autonomy is here, we trust the state governors to give them power, give them tractors, give them utensils, give them everything they need to promote agriculture. Yeah, the state might be the owner of all the land, but you can delegate it to the local government that, listen, this is what you should produce. Let us see your production. Let us see what the problem is. Is it insecurity? Let's improve on our farm settlements. Whatever the needs, but there must be a coalition between the state and the local governments. Right. And as I said, just like politics is local and agricultural is also local. So there's nothing. To me, the local governments, chairman, they have no excuses this time around. Okay. Because I believe by ending of this month,
they'll start getting their money
directly from the CBN. Now, every citizen have to go back to their local government chairman that, what are you doing with your allocation? It's going to be publicized. Right. So there's no hidden. So there's no issue that, oh, the money is with the state. No. Because there's I think between the federal government, the state government, and the local government now, I think everybody is come to the round table to make sure that the food security is improving in the country.
Okay, we live in the world of technology now, and whether we like it or not, almost every part of our life now involves the use of technology. So how can we leverage technology to also improve agriculture at the state and the national level?
Sorry, as you're answering that, you can also talk about mechanized farming in long.
Well, I think both of them go together.
Yes,
the technology and the
farming.
mechanization, they have to go together. As I say, if you really want to encourage people to go into farming, technology have to come in. And how does the technology come in? Most of our youth, they make use of this Android. You can control your farm through this Android. There's an application for it. They use it in abroad, and it could be used instead of them just using it to chat their girlfriend or boyfriend. They can use to be productive. You can even use to export some of this produce.
Right.
As I said, farming is very broad. Everybody does not have to go into the nitty-gritty of the farming. Some people might plant, some people might just buy the produce from the farm, which is what they call commodity trading. Buy the produce, store it, and sell it when the price is high.
Right.
Some people can add value to it, because value chain is the only thing. That is why you see some of our people, they take cocoa to Sweden and they turn it to chocolate. And they sell it on a very high price. Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we add value to what we are producing here, either through cassava? If you look at it now, even we are even importing
cassava.
Gari from China. Well packaged. Why can't we package it here? The same thing with rice. If they say our rice have too many stones, can't we have something that the stone, to remove the stone from it? It doesn't cost much. This is why the government need to come in as part of what you just asked, technology. You understand? It's not difficult. As I said, interest comes first.
Before we allow you go this morning,
because if you don't have any interest, you won't be here this morning.
Yeah, definitely. Before we allow you go, is it also possible that Nigerians have love for imported items? And we always, choose imported things over the local production. Some people will tell you, I can't eat local rice. Some people will tell you, I can't eat ofada rice. But yet, some of these things are the best if they are done properly. Will this be the role of the state governors or the federal government or all tiers of government at ensuring that we also value what we produce here over what those things that are imported? Because if we're not producing enough, then we're also giving room for the imported items over the little that we produce here.
As I said, we always have policies to assault. It's in the Constitution that we should be able to produce what we eat, what will sustain us. So it's still the policy of the federal government, not the state government, because the federal government is in charge of the custom. How does this goods get inside? So if the federal government really wanted to, they should close the borders. By the time everybody suffers.
But when they did, was there much difference?
No, because there are still some loopholes where the customs here allow them to allow these produce to smuggle some of these things.
But our borders are porous.
They are very porous, exactly. But you have to spend money to secure your land. If you cannot spend money to secure your land, all kind of foreign people, all these Boko Harams will be coming and attack us. So they have to spend money to protect. Look at what America did to Mexico. Look at how much billions of dollars spent to be able to cut off the Mexicans coming to America. So the same thing can be done in Nigeria, the Chad, Cameroon, Niger. We are very close to them. And to me, it's danger. So back to your question, to me, if you say you cannot eat local rice, it's because you have alternative. So if that alternative is blocked, we have no choice. But we eat it. They have to eat the local rice. Okay. You understand? So if there's no original, there won't be no fake. So we are still comparing the foreign and the local rice. So the whole policy has to come from the federal government if you really want to sustain the local content in this country.
Okay, I would have to leave this conversation here this morning, but the bulk of it is that all tiers of government really have a job to do here. The federal, the state, and the local government, and of course the individuals also will need to play their part here. So thank you so much again, Mr. Wale Oyekoya, for finding time to be here on the program today.
Thank you, always my pleasure.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues.